Hello and welcome back. If you're new, I'm Deirdre, and today I'm very scruffy, so apologies for this, but I've been in DIY mode, and this is a back to front sort of video because I've already done the thing I'm about to show you. So I've already, this is sort of recorded after the fact, and what I've done is I've replaced the legs on my table, which it goes back with me a long way. It's my old kitchen table from when my kids were really little. It's reclaimed Baltic pine floorboards, and it's too visually heavy for my downsized home. Now, having said that, I know that this isn't 100% right. It's too lightweight now. So part one will be this. Part two will be making and fitting a frame underneath it. If you enjoy a bit of DIY and some downsizing, and oh boy, there's decluttering to come, then subscribe, give me a thumbs up, let me know that this is the sort of thing you like, and let's get on with the table. Well, here's the table, and and these are the legs, all wrapped up in their plastic. They're called, let's turn one round, here's one that is facing the right way, Hildur. Now, obviously chairs are going to be an issue down the line, but I wanted to see if this works first. So the problem with this one is this is broken. You can see it can move and creak and groan and do all those things. It's actually split in behind, and here, and this whole block is split. Yes, I could mend it and keep it just as it is, and there's nothing wrong with it except visual space. I really like the top. It's been a well-used table in many versions since my kids were little, so there's a wee bit of sentimental value, I suppose. So that is why I want to keep the top, and I think it will work really well with these bamboo, very strong legs. So let's open one of these up and just see. So this top part is metal, and it's sort of like a full cap, metal cap that you then screw into the underneath of the table, and this part is bamboo, and that's incredibly strong. If you ever go to Asia, you will actually see them building multi-story buildings with bamboo scaffolding, and you think, oh my goodness, that looks so scary. Actually, it's incredibly strong, and I rather like that. Look, see, I think that will look, hang on, I've got to be able to balance it now, don't I? Okay, I think that will look quite nice with that top. A little bit more modern, we'll see. But I have to do something, and when it all comes down to it, I'll just put this back down out of the way. By the way, emptying it, the screws come with it. Having said all of that, the reason I actually want to do it is about visual space. And when you downsize from a large home into a much smaller one, you'll find that visual space becomes really important. This is too busy for me. The chairs are too busy. The table legs are too busy. So I want to change out the chairs. I actually still have some of this fabric, which I love. And what I'll do is I'll just make cushions for whatever I put on there, or reupholster whatever I decide to use, and still keep that look because I love it, and the tones are perfect for the house. But I think this could work. This could work. So wish me luck, and let's see if this works. This is, sorry, I have a head and a tree. Okay. So this is the evolving issue when you downsize to a much smaller home, and it's that, oops, sorry, you went straight. It's that you don't have a basement, you don't have an attic. To be honest, here in Australia we tend not to have those things, but I also don't have a garage, and if I need to move things out, then well, they get stacked outside, I suppose is the only option, but I don't do that either. Anyway, so this is something that you have to be aware of when you downsize, that there are times when it gets tricky. Not to worry, I will continue moving these chairs and plants. And there it is, turned turtle, ready for me to undo all these little bits. And you can see the really orange colour of the pine and all the holes where the nails, that's a nail hole, another one. These are the nail holes from when it was flooring. So that was the colour that the top had turned before I whitewashed it. These little screws are not Phillips head. I will have to find a flat-headed screwdriver to take them off. Okay, I have been out for a walk, found a flat-headed screwdriver to undo all of the screws on my tabletop to detach it from its legs. I am having to revert to an old-fashioned thing called a screwdriver to undo all the little attachments that attach the top to the legs. So give me about 2 hours and I'll finish taking off 36, lots and lots of them. Okay, back in a minute. Right, so I was all organised, ready to start measuring and marking and making sure that everyone was in, you know, the right place and equidistant from the corner, and then I realised that my painting from the previous iteration of this table had effectively given me exactly the right place to put the legs without measuring. Now I'm not going to be using the screws that came with it, which are these ones, because they are slightly too long for putting through and they would come out the top of the tabletop, because as I mentioned earlier, this is a reclaimed floorboard. So instead, now this is what they've given us from IKEA, what they've given me is a classic Phillips head and what's called a pan head. See, it's just got a nice little flat head on it, so it's not going to sink in. And so I've bought just a slightly smaller version of the same thing. Now it's going to miss out on this much grip. It'll be fine, really, it'll be fine. The ones that were in it to hold it were even slightly smaller. You see, now that is a countersunk head. They were holding those little clips on with the job. Now these are self-tapping. I'll give them the chance. Now that means that you don't have to drill a hole, and because this is bolted pine, it's a soft timber, so I think I'll be fine without drilling on those little holes. But I'll test and see, and if you see me switch over to a drill and pre-drill some of these holes, you'll know that they are not self-tapping and it doesn't want me to just screw straight in, but I suspect it'll be fine. And as I expected, straight into this beautiful old soft but quite soft timber, and there are 5 on each leg, so it's really well supported. Well, they're all on, and the last step will be, now these are actually chair leg protectors, but they'll be fine. The table ones were just slightly too big, and I really don't feel like cutting them down. Last one, so they don't scratch the floors. Beautiful floors. And I'm ready to turn it over and show you what it looks like. And there it is. Now I may end up putting a bracing piece under the centre. At the moment it seems fine, but there's a part of me that thinks it may not be, but it is exactly the look I wanted, because look how spacious it looks. Now, alright, I haven't got the chairs back in, but what I will do is, I was thinking I'd have 4 different sorts of chairs and then a bench, but now I think, hang on, I've got these 2 over here. Excuse the broom, I was just making sure everything was clean while I was under there. If I had a bench at the back that would seat, say, 2 or 3, you know, 2 there, 2 on each side. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. I don't. I'm tired now. It's hot. It's been a busy day, but that's pretty close to what I want. And I love the way that it all works, and it sort of disappears almost. Now I've got to put my existing chairs back and it's going to look all heavy again. I'm going to feel cross. But given that this is my current situation in my kitchen, which wasn't, you know, it was a bit untidy to start with. You know, it has a plant, it has everything there, and it has chairs lined up like I'm going on a train, and the old table base. No, I think they're still going to be too heavy looking. So I think these can, I've got 6 of them, they can go on eBay, and I'm going to hunt for a couple of really nice open looking chairs that are still really comfortable, and a comfortable bench on the back. That'll keep it as open as possible. And there it is with the chairs back. And yes, I'm definitely going to be looking for something different, but even with the chairs back, getting rid of the heavy base and the heavy turned legs has made enough of a difference for me. I'm definitely in a let's get rid of stuff mood, more downsizing, ongoing. It's an ongoing thing. Yep, that's a start. Well, there we are. Do you see why I've said it's part 1? Look, it's quite stable, it's fine. It's gone from being too visually heavy, too much visual impact, to looking a bit too thin on it. You know, and yes, I know you can never be too thin or too rich, but this table's a bit thin. So there's a part 2 coming up at some point. Right now, I'm going to leave it just the way it is, but I'm going to repurpose the pieces that I've taken off, except for the turned legs, and I'm going to use those pieces to build a really strong little frame underneath it. Okay, once again, I hope that you enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up and a subscribe if that's the sort of thing you like, and I'll be back with decluttering and lots of little jobs I've got to get done. You know, I want to get done before the end of the decade, because the decade is finishing. Anyway, I hope that whatever you're doing, you're having a lovely time, and I will see you soon. Bye.